Hey friends, I'm actually going to split this reaction into 3 parts, so make sure that you start with part 1 and then go to part 2 and then part 3, just to kind of make them a little bit shorter. It just ended up a little bit longer than I had expected. So again, watch part 1, part 2, part 3. I'll put links down in the description so that you can start at part 1 if you like. But anyway, yeah, get prepared. This is a really fun one for me. Give me a lot to look at in as far as understanding the game and the love for the game and people's respect for it. So yeah, make sure you watch them all. See ya. Okay, this is making a little bit of sense. I was thinking about, this does, as I said, happens occasionally in Major League Baseball in the United States. It's usually the pitchers when we're talking about the ball itself. The pitchers occasionally, and they will use things like sandpaper or some other object to scratch the ball. They have been known to put different forms of liquid, anything from snot to pine tar. And anything else, on their on the ball, so that when they throw it, it gets more movement. When that happens, they typically they'll get a maybe a 3-game suspension. Now these pitchers, they only pitch every 5 days, so they may get anywhere from a 3 to 5 or 6 game suspension. They'll get a fine, which most of them, it's not enough to, for them to care about, because they make so much money. I wonder if and tell me in the comments, everybody, is the penalty here more stiff because it's a national team, right? And they play internationally, and their tournaments, they might only play every 2 years or something like that. Whereas in Major League Baseball, in one given season, that lasts just the regular season alone, without the playoffs and without the preseason games, lasts 6 months, and they play 162 games, right? So they play just in a tremendous amount. And they're not representing an entire country, right? And so I wonder, and it's not international, right? So I wonder if that's why the penalties are so much more stiff when something like this happens in an international worldwide game. Just for context, let me know, and how often this stuff happens, because as I said, it doesn't happen all the time, but maybe every year or two you'll see a pitcher in Major League Baseball tamper or doctor the ball in some way, and it's not that big a deal. Okay, let's go in here, inside story, and see what this one is. I'm going to try to not pause too much and make this too long. Oh, by the way, this comes from the cricket story.
Sandpaper Gate, the 2018 ball tampering episode involving the Australian cricket team, has become one of the biggest scandals in modern cricket history. Not only did it elicit strong reactions from the cricket fraternity, it also created headlines outside
Darkest
the cricketing
day.
world.
That
The
is
Australian
really strong
Prime
comment.
Minister weighed in on the issue, calling it a shocking disappointment. At the centre of the scandal was the novice Test opener Cameron Bankroft. He was captured on television cameras appearing to rub the cricket ball with a small yellow object. The aim was to rough up one side of the ball to make it swing in the air. Realising that he had been spotted, Bancroft hid the object inside the front of his trousers. But there was no hiding place for Cameron Bancroft. How did the host broadcasters know when and where to look? To answer that, we need to turn the clock back to the first Test at Durban.
Oh, this is great context.
Mitchell Starc
I like
had
this.
wreaked havoc with the old ball, the reverse swing helping him claim 9 wickets and the Man of the Match award. However, doubts persisted over whether Australia had created the advantage with the ball using lawful means. After the match, South African batsman A.B. de Villiers spoke to former captain Graham Smith, now a TV commentator, about his suspicions, and Smith relayed them to the host broadcaster.
Okay.
Suspicion naturally fell on David Warner, who was in charge of ball shining duties. During the second Test at Port Elizabeth, the TV cameras started closing in on the unusually large amount of stroke.
And Warner is the vice captain, right, for Australia?
That was the reason why he was relieved of ball shining duties in the Test at Cape Town. On the third afternoon of the Cape Town Test, the cameras finally found what they were looking for. They captured Bancroft working vigorously on the ball and hiding an object down the front of his trousers.
Okay, so that's good context. So apparently this had been going on, or the suspicions had been going on for multiple matches, right? That's interesting to know. So there was reports of this.
When the umpires questioned him, he produced a black cloth from his pocket with the explanation that he had simply been wiping the ball. Initially, the plan seemed to work. The umpires did not change the ball or award penalty runs to South Africa.
Oh, you can get
However,
penalty runs for that.
everything unravelled once the scrutiny intensified. At the press conference, Bankroft and the Australian captain Steve Smith both admitted to a plan by the leadership group,
so there was a conspiracy of
consisting
sorts.
Smith and David Warner, to alter the condition of the ball. Bancroft claimed that he used yellow adhesive tape to capture granules from the rough wicket and use it on the ball. The admission
That's where the
sparked
sandpaper
widespread outrage.
term comes
Social media went into overdrive, with people reacting with both shock and shame. The Australian Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, stated that it was beyond belief that the Australian team could be involved in cheating, and said that he expected Cricket Australia to take decisive action. Cricket Australia CEO James Sutherland confirmed the day after the incident that both Steve Smith and David Warner would stand down from their roles of captain and vice-captain respectively for the remainder of the match.
Have they since then been reinstated in their positions?
Found
Somebody
that
let
David
me know.
Warner was responsible for devising the plan to tamper the ball and instructed Bancroft to execute it. Though Steve Smith was aware of the plan, he did nothing to stop it. The investigation also determined that the object in question was not adhesive tape, but sandpaper.
Okay,
Both
so it was in
Warner and
fact
Smith
sandpaper.
received 1-year suspensions from international and domestic cricket. Bancroft received a similar suspension for 9 months. Smith and Warner lost their IPL contracts for the upcoming season, while Somerset cancelled Bancroft's county deal. While the scandal prompted much soul-searching amongst the cricket fraternity, there were some aspects that were largely overlooked. If the TV commentators had not asked the cameraman to look out for ball tampering, would the cameras have caught Bancroft in the act?
Okay.
It is highly unlikely.
So they had a heads up.
The incriminating footage of Bancroft was a zoom shot taken from the mid-wicket camera between overs. Broadcasters do not usually follow the ball between overs, nor do they zoom in on the cricket ball, on the rare occasions that they do so.
So
And
that
it
the
also
media had a
raises
part in
questions around
exposing.
the role of the broadcaster. Would the host broadcaster have gone to the same lengths to scrutinise the activities of the South African players? It is perhaps telling that no player, apart from Michael Atherton, has ever been filmed trying to tamper the ball during their home series.
So that doesn't happen apparently very frequently at all, and I can imagine why with all the major repercussions. But that's really interesting how infrequently that happens. I'll be back soon with more. Thank you all for being here. Make sure that you like and subscribe because I will be back with more soon. All right, y'all take care and I'll see you soon.